Hello everyone, CM Freeze here, and with the Hall of Fame game officially wrapping up last week and the NFL season starting in almost a month now, it's time for me to do a fantasy football mock draft. Now, I typically do a lot of fantasy football leagues. Last year I did 4 leagues. I did an 8-team league, 2 10-team leagues, and a 12-team league. So when doing mock drafts like this, it's hard to, there's factors that go into it. Is it a PPR league? How many people are in it? For me last year, pretty much all of my leagues were PPR. 3 of them were PPR leagues and 1 wasn't. So what I'm going to do for this mock draft is a PPR league and just do 10 person. And I'm going to show you guys what I would personally do if I had the first overall pick in a 10 PPR league. And with the first overall pick, it doesn't matter if it's 8 players, 10 players, 12 players, PPR, non-PPR. You have to draft Christian McCaffrey. I'll pick it in a second because I have it to where it's not with other people. So when I pick it, it automatically picks everyone else. So I'm going to quickly go over McCaffrey first. Last year, he had a stretch of, 19 games where he scored a touchdown every single game. He was basically averaging over 20 fantasy points every single week. He was number 1 in fantasy points. He literally scored the most fantasy points last season. No reason to not expect him to do it this season. And he's only 28, so he's still in his prime. Christian McCaffrey is the easy pick 1 for me here. I don't think it literally can be anyone else. I seriously don't see a world where you could not pick anybody else. Now here we have our second overall pick. If we see the draft board here, there are typically all these other running backs are going to be gone. Like, you shouldn't be able to get Saquon or Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe Derrick Henry might still be there. And if Derrick Henry was there, or even if Williams was there, I would think about taking them here at pick number 10. But with looking at what we got, and if we look at our draft board, and what I really like about this draft simulator here is that it shows you all these players that have been taken and who are still available. We're not going to take a quarterback. I don't like taking a quarterback early, especially when, like, Dak Prescott here is QB9, when I'm pretty sure last year Dak Prescott was like QB2. Brock Purdy, I think, was QB5, and they have him at 11. Same with Jordan Love. Purdy, Love, Prescott are all great quarterbacks that you can get down the board. I would honestly wait. But here now with back-to-back picks, Travis Etienne is still on the board, and I know we're doubling up on running back, but I am definitely 100% drafting Travis Etienne here. If you look at Travis Etienne, last year, he was running back 4. He's only 25, and with a Jaguars team that lost Calvin Ridley, their number 1 wide receiver, they're going to focus on Etienne even more. They loved running the ball with him. Trevor Lawrence already has that connection with Travis Etienne. We're doubling up on running back, but to get trapped, Christian McCaffrey and Travis Etienne, running back 1 and running back 4, you are so set up. I guess I didn't realize, but my face cam is blocking what some of these other teams are doing, so I'll make it just a little bit smaller so that you guys can see the full draft board there. Now, at pick 1, we definitely now have to go get a wide receiver. Isaiah Pacheco I like, but we're not going to do 3 running backs. And now, with wide receiver here, I really like Deebo Samuel here in this spot, especially with what's going on with Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk might not even be playing. I also don't hate if you wanted to go Chris Olave, Nico Collins, Drake London, Devontae Adams, even Jalen Waddle, even Amari Cooper. Like, there are still a ton of good wide receivers here, and I don't think you can really go wrong with any of them. But Deebo Samuel is going to be the wide receiver that I like here. Like I said, especially with Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle is also getting older, but you could convince me on Chris Olave. Just who knows if you can trust that Saints offense, especially Derek Carr. Chris Olave didn't do the most last season. Drake London could have a really big year with Atlanta, but also, again, who really knows what's going to happen. I think Deebo Samuel is the most safe pick here at pick number 3, and that is why we are going to draft him. And now, a ton of good players are going to get selected. So when we have our pick, 4th round pick and 5th round pick, somehow Jalen Waddle is still here. That's something I don't understand. There is a big running back. A ton of running backs were selected here in the 4th round, but we already got the best 1-2 running back punch. No one's going to have another good as running back punch as us. Maybe there's Breece Hall and Jonathan Taylor here, or Saquon, Achane, and Josh Jacobs is pretty nice, but I still think McCaffrey and Etienne's the best. With Jalen Waddle still here on the board, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Devontae Smith, Malik Neighbors is still here. Trey McBride, we have a ton of options, actually. We still have a ton of options. The 3 guys that I'm really looking at is Trey McBride, Jalen Waddle, and Malik Neighbors. I don't understand why why Draft Simulator has Malik Neighbors so low. He's going to be the clear wide receiver 1, and Zay Flowers is here too. Holy crap, there are still some good wide receivers. I really like Jalen Waddle. He did get a little banged up there last season. As you can see, Jalen Waddle missed 3 games last season. Even though he missed 3 games, he was still wide receiver 30. He did really good a lot of the time. Some games he did great, but he did miss a couple of games. There's obviously Tyreek Hill. Now Odell Beckham Jr. is there as well. So maybe I won't go with Jalen Waddle here. I really like Malik Neighbors in the 4th or the 5th round. I think that's great values for one of the best young wide receivers who instantly is the number 1 wide receiver on a New York Giants team. I really like Devontae Smith as well, wide receiver 17 last year. With A.J. Brown getting double covered, Devontae Smith is constantly going to get a ton of reps. Health hasn't been an issue for him as well. Zay Flowers also had a great season last year, and I also expect Zay Flowers to take a step up as well. You also can't go wrong with Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is wide receiver 14 last year, and that was with Deshaun Watson and Joe Flacco as his quarterback. Also, tight ends are kind of hard to come by. Yeah, Trey McBride was tight end 10 last season, but if you look at Trey McBride's usage before and after Kyler Murray, before Kyler Murray, he was not doing good. Look at these games here. 1 catch for 2 yards, 1 catch for 5 yards. But then Kyler Murray came into play. First game with Kyler Murray, 8 catches, 131 yards, 43 yards, 60 yards, 89 yards. When Kyler Murray came back from injury, Trey McBride took a massive step in year 2, and I expect him to take a big step in year 3 as well. Only 24. Trey McBride could be a great snag for you. There's also Mark Andrews, who you can't go wrong with Mark Andrews as well. Mark Andrews was doing great until he got hurt. But with the Ravens had a lot of assets. They have a lot of guys that can get the ball. Trey McBride is already one of the best tight ends in the league. There is so many things that you can do here. It's really hard for me to pick. If this is a keeper league where you got young guys, a lot of the leagues I do are keeper leagues, it might really be smart to go Trey McBride and Malik Neighbors here. If it's not a keeper league, you might want to go for some more experienced veterans like Amari Cooper, Devontae Smith. I think with what the position I am in, I think that there are so many good picks that you could do here. Personally, I'm going to go with the young guys and take a shot and try to win it all. I'm going to go with Trey McBride here with my 4th round pick, and I am going to go Malik Neighbors with my 5th round pick. If this is a keeper league, having Malik Neighbors in the 5th round could become very valuable. If he pans out, he could be worth a 2nd or 3rd round pick next season, or maybe in 2 seasons after that. So getting one of the best wide receivers in the game, potentially in the 5th round, is absolutely massive. And now here, if we look at the draft board, has Jalen Waddle still not been picked? Okay, that would never happen. Damn, this league just doesn't value wide receivers, I guess. Is this not a PPR league? Did I screw up? Is this not PPR? Can I check this? Hello everyone, so post-editor Cam here. I wasn't able to figure out while doing the mock draft if I made it PPR, but I reviewed the footage and I by accident just made it standard, and so this was a non-PPR draft. That's why so many running backs went first instead of wide receivers. I say this later in the video because a lot of the wide receivers don't get drafted, and I think in a PPR league they would be drafted a lot sooner. but I choose not to draft wide receivers that I don't think will be there. I explain it later in the video, but basically everything I've said up until this point still stands. My word is the same, just I did make a little bit of a mistake. I by accident did a standard league, so your draft board or your fantasy league probably is going to look a little bit different in the middle rounds here in a actual PPR league. Thank you. Okay, so you would be dumb not to pick Jalen Waddle here, but there's no way that Jalen Waddle is still in the 6th round. I think I really messed up. Just look at all these running backs that have been taken. So we're going to need another running back, and we're going to need another wide receiver. I highly doubt Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, or any of these guys are still here. Stephon Diggs probably isn't here either. I think Zay Flowers is the most realistic guy to be here. If you can get Zay Flowers here in the 6th round, that is tremendous value. Maybe Devontae Smith can slide. So if Devontae Smith does somehow slide, then I would take Devontae Smith here. I'm going to draft him just in case he slides, but Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs would not be here at all. I don't know what's going on with this thing. And then we definitely need another running back. With our running backs that are still here, looking at all of them, there are some guys that I like. Brian Robinson Jr. has been good for the Washington Commanders. He was running back 20 last season. They did bring in Austin Eckler, but don't get it twisted. Eckler's been falling off. I think Brian Robinson Jr. is still their main primary running back 1. Jonathan Brooks is a rookie who I don't see here. He's already hurt, and he's not even to play until week 4. That's definitely hurting him. Ezekiel Elliott, I don't actually hate Elliott because now he's back in Dallas and he's been looking good in training camps. I think Elliott's going to be the kind of guy like what the Detroit Lions did with David Montgomery last season, where he doesn't get a lot of big plays, but if Dallas is ever on the goal line, they're going to hand the ball off to Zeke. I could see Zeke being a guy that's getting a touchdown a game and getting you like 10 points because he is getting a touchdown. Maybe he only has like 30 yards, but I could see him being a guy that's getting like 8 rushes, 30 yards, and a touchdown a game. So I'm completely cool with taking Zeke here. I'm completely cool with taking Brian Robinson Jr. I think I am going to take Brian Robinson Jr. here in the 7th round. Gus Edwards also could be great. He was running back 12 last season, but he is getting old. But I could see him being used a lot in with the Chargers. But I am going to take Brian Robinson Jr. And now we will see where we're at going into pick 8. So if you look at my team, I'm really liking our team. We got Christian McCaffrey and Travis Etienne as our running backs, Deebo Samuel, Malik Neighbors, and Devontae Smith as our wide receivers, Trey McBride as our tight end, Brian Robinson Jr. on the slot. We are looking incredibly good right now. Still, because all of these quarterbacks are taken. Look, it's a 10-team league. So 8 teams have already taken quarterbacks. Dak Prescott is still there. Brock Purdy is still there. If we want, we could take Brock Purdy as our quarterback and pair him up with Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of week 9 buys, but the 49ers are one of the best teams in the league. They made it to the Super Bowl last year. Made it to the Final Four the year before that. Brock Purdy last season was literally QB6. Dak Prescott was QB4. Jordan Love was QB5. So you got QB4, 5, and 6 all right here. And we can take any of them. If we want to pair up both Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, yeah, we're going to be riding a lot on the success of the 49ers. But that's not a bad team to have a lot of success on. Now, we do have 3 wide receivers and 3 running backs, so I think we're now in a position where, at least with pick 8 here, we're just going to take best player available in either running back or wide receiver department. Tajay Spears is still here for the Titans, and yes, he was only running back 41 last year, but that was behind Derrick Henry, and Tajay Spears could do a lot of damage for the Tennessee Titans with him and Eckler splitting carries. I also don't hate J.K. Dobbins as well. You kind of got to really think who would be running back 2 if the first running back got injured. I kind of think of that as well. Trey Benson out of Arizona could be really good, especially in a keeper league. It doesn't hurt to get a ton of keepers. Xavier Worthy's here, Jordan Addison's here. I think I like the wide receiver depth a lot more than the running back depth, which means just take the best running back now, and then you can just get a ton of good wide receivers in the future. For me, that's Tajay Spears. He's probably not going to see a lot of playing time, but we literally have McCaffrey and ETN and Brian Robinson Jr., so Spears isn't going to be seeing much playing time regardless, unless it's a bye week. And then with pick 9, it's probably smart to take our quarterback now, but I also like a lot of the wide receivers here. Terry McLaurin still being here is absolutely insane. Now with him having Jaden Daniels, I could really see Terry McLaurin going off. Same with Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed last year was wide receiver 19, and he's Jordan Love's number 1 target. Jaden Reed going into year 2 could be absolutely massive. And I don't think it hurts to take a shot on him. But there's also Rashid Rice here and Xavier Worthy. You know Rashid Rice, he's a sure hit and run pick. Can't go wrong with him. Deontay Johnson. I really like all these wide receivers here. I think I am going to take Jaden Reed just because he was doing so good last year with Jordan Love, number 1 guy. Jaden Daniels, a little bit of uncertainty to him. So let's take Jaden Reed. And now we'll go to our 10th round pick. So yeah, look at all these good wide receiver, rookie wide receivers here. Xavier Worthy, Ladd McCloskey, Brian Robinson Jr. Still some great options for us. No one's taking quarterback yet, but I think we do have to take our quarterback just to be smart here. I also don't hate taking defense here. I know a lot of times people say take defense later, but you damn well know that somebody is always taking a solid defense early in your fantasy drafts. There's always someone that typically takes a defense like in the 8th or 9th round. So the defenses that I personally like the most are the Cowboys defense is still good. Cowboys defense, I think, was number 1. It was defense 2 last season. Interesting. Ravens was defense 1. I like the Cowboys defense. It got a little bit worse in the offseason, but they still play the Giants and the Commanders twice a year. And that's what I really like to look at is divisional rivals. So it's like I look at the 49ers. They typically play the Seahawks very well. Then they typically play the Cardinals very well, which that should be 2 easy wins for them. And then the Rams are kind of a toss-up. But the 49ers have one of the best defenses in the league. For me, it would be kind of hard to pick the 49ers defense since we already do have 2 49ers and I'm banking this thing, let's just draft the entire 49ers team. But the Ravens defense is going to be really good. 49ers defense is really good. Jets defense is going to be stupid good. You can't go wrong with a lot of these defenses. But the best defense in the league was the Ravens last year. They lost their defensive coordinator, and that's a big thing. That really is a big thing. When I look at what I think the best defense is gonna be, and then I look at like who they have to play divisionally, I really like the New York Jets because the New York Jets last season finished 3rd in their division, so they have easier matchups against the rest of the AFC team, and they have to play the Patriots twice a season. They have to play the Bills, who have a worse offense now, twice a season, and the Jets also play the Dolphins really well. I am going to take the Jets defense here. But again, you could go any defense that you want, but I really like the Jets defense here with the first overall defensive pick. And then I think we need to get quarterback out of the way. I am completely happy with going Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, or Brock Purdy. I'm going to select Dak Prescott here because Dak Prescott is going into a contract season. And as you know, players that are going into a contract season just absolutely completely mess things up. But then Brock Purdy's still here. I don't mind. I'm going to draft Brock Purdy. You need 2 quarterbacks in case, something happens to Dak Prescott or something happens to Brock Purdy. Bye weeks. I had to make sure they didn't have the same bye. Getting QB4 and QB6 in the 11th and 12th round is an absolute steal. And a lot of people, look at this. They're taking Jalen Hurts all the way in round 4, Josh Allen in round 3, Mahomes in round 5. We were able to get so many better players. We were able to get Malik Neighbors. We were able to get Deebo Samuel. We were able to get Devontae Smith. because we passed on a wide receiver. So now we have 4 running backs and 4 wide receivers, which again means that I think here we either take, we need another tight end. We're just taking best player available now. Brock Bowers is still somehow here. I find that highly hard to believe. I don't think there's any world where Brock Bowers is here. If Brock Bowers is still here, draft him. I don't see Brock Bowers being here in the 12th round. I honestly think he will be picked sooner. I truly do. So I'm not going to take him. An underrated tight end I love, Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet was tight end 6 last year. And while, yes, the Bears team is stacked with DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen, Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze are coming into their first year. Cole Kmet, he's in this system. He knows this system. Yes, it's now a new quarterback in Caleb Williams, but I love Cole Kmet as an underrated tight end here. Dalton Schultz can also be a great tight end too, but same exact boat with Houston is they have just so many options. Dallas Goedert could be great too. TJ Hawkinson's coming off injury. He's typically great, but not yet ruled out for week 1. Oh, but he's on the pup. If Brock Bowers is here, select Brock Bowers. If not, I love Cole Kmet as an underrated pick, and I think Cole Kmet is more realistically a tight end that is going to be here, so that is why I'm going to take Cole Kmet. But if Brock Bowers is somehow there in your league in the 13th round, definitely take Brock Bowers. Excellent tight end. And now we got 2 rounds left here. We just need another flex and then a kicker, so we'll make this really easy. You could go either or. It doesn't matter what kicker you take. Brandon Aubrey was literally the kicker 1 last year. I don't think he missed a single kick. He went absolutely off. Kicker doesn't matter. Like, it truly doesn't. I believe they did a study. Like, I think it saw, like, kicker 1 and kicker, like, 10 last year was a 3-point difference. Maybe even lower than that. Kicker, as long as you just get one of the top 10 kickers, kicker is not that important at all. Harrison Butker could have a phenomenal year this year. I think we'll just go with Brandon Aubrey, honestly. We have back-to-back kicks, so it doesn't matter what you do. And then next, we're just going to go best player available. We don't need a tight end, so either the best running back or wide receiver available. Oh, I love Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers last year did a ton of good stuff. Yeah, the running backs here, just the depth is terrible. So truly, what wide receiver do you want? Which wide receiver do you think can make a big play? You could take a rookie. I might go with Jalen Polk, honestly. Polk, 2nd round pick for the Patriots. The Patriots don't have much wide receivers to begin with. So you could do so many things here. I like Mooney. Adonai Mitchell could be great. Jahan Dotson could be great. So many good picks here. I think I'll just pick Polk, though. Keeper league, then another good option keeper for you. And now with the first pick, I think this draft couldn't have gone much better for you. Christian McCaffrey and Travis Etienne, running back 1 and running back 4. Then you also get Deebo Samuels, Malik Neighbors, and Devontae Smith, and Trey McBride. This is about as good as a draft could go for you, with a great bench. If you're able to get something like this, there's probably a really good chance you're winning your league. We literally got an A+ grade. Unless injuries happen, injuries could always screw you up. But I think this is a really good mock draft. Let me know if you would change anything about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.